Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based to debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30, let's do a first take. On Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks. Going back and forth like Claude Ray, Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. But we're broadcasting all over the world via Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Unique setup. Both of them live and we got a different Jimmy on each platform. Different personalities, different people. I mean, Facebook, let me tell you something, YouTube is picking up. But Jimmy, this is Women Rock Wednesday. So I shout out to all the women all over the world. Let me tell you something, especially the women like Tyandra Holmes, Mindy Collins. These women are already on the Facebook feed. I mean, Jimmy, let me see, can I look? Wendy Johnson. Hey, Wendy, I didn't see you over there. My bad. Let me see. Hold on. I'm just trying to get all my women out the way, Jimmy. But Jimmy, it's a unique day. April 15th, 1947. Jackie Robinson made his Major League baseball debut with the Brooklyn Dodgers. So this really Jackie Robinson Day. You remember usually a lot of when the MLB is in, all of them wear his jersey on this day or something like that. Something like that. But you know what I need right now? All you people on YouTube, let's like, share, and hit the thumbs up buttons. We need you to, we just need you to do a few things for us, right? We want you to share, start up watch party, and let's get this party going right now. And Jimmy, I added something to you remember everybody was talking, the general public was talking about social distancing, and ICE came up with a term called physically distancing. So I got something else I want to add. I want you to be physically distancing, but I want you to give social support to your people, okay? So this going to be the media can have theirs. We're going to physically distance ourselves, but we're going to give social support to everybody. Jimmy, I saw, and let's make an effort, y'all, and not an excuse. So, Jimmy, I saw a unique caption. They had the devil and God in a cartoon. Okay? Check this out. And the devil told God, with COVID-19, I closed your churches. God came back and said, on the contrary, I just opened one in every home. So yeah, I got something for you, baby. He said, I just opened a church in every home. So everybody praying at home right now. Every knee shall bow. So I thought it was a unique a cartoon that's out there, and I thought it was fun. But what you got today, man? What we got? I know we got a special guest today. What we got? What else we got?
Oh man, we got today, of course, at the top of the hour, we're expected to be joined by D. John Lucas, and we're going to have a great convo with him this afternoon on the back nine on the Chop Shop. So make sure you brace yourself and share the show for that upcoming conversation. Also, in the news around the horn, you know, the thing about it, one thing about sports is always going to be a conversation or somebody that will insert themselves into the equation. So now, of course, we see a couple of the topics we can toss around the horn in the near future, right? In the second would be, of course, how about Isaiah Todd yesterday? And this happened yesterday while we were talking about the Gatorade Player of the Year and whatnot. But Isaiah Todd, and he's a top chef, a top 10 player, top 5 player in the country who had committed to Michigan. Mm-hmm. But then he's changed his mind and says he's going to play professionally.
Won't go get that bread.
I understand.
Could you blame him?
So now the question is, they say he plans to sign with an agent, and of course he won't play this year. So my question is this, Hatter. He's planning to go into the draft for 2021.
The next draft.
Yeah, so he's gonna just sit idle.
No, man, you know he gonna do the R.J. Hampton them. Come on, man. He gonna follow that. Think about it, y'all. Now everybody talking about R.J. Hampton and Melo Ball. That guy's going to go follow that model. Come on. That mama said, you notice she said, we signing with agent. Okay? That agent got to be able to get some money unless he going to foot this bill for 2 years. So guess what? Hey, he can, let me tell you something, Jimmy. Hey, if it's a model out there and he think he can go overseas and make it, let me tell you something, man. I'd rather them guys do it. And Jimmy, he was a senior, right? He got the option to even go to the G League. He got that option. Because you remember they got Rod Strickland got that they got that new track, and we can talk about it with John later. They got a new track that you can go on. You got to be 18 years old though. That's the key. It's instead of that minimum. If you fit, well, he in the top 5, so he fit that that new model. Instead of going overseas, you can make $125,000 over here. Okay, instead of going overseas.
But that's what it's 125 now. But the G League has somebody made an announcement that they're about to up the ante for a certain amount of players.
That's the regular. That's in the G League period. Yeah. We talking about this special track that Rod Strickland is over. You know they named Rod Strickland the czar. This little special track that it didn't really it hadn't even been implemented. Ain't nobody even took advantage of it yet. So Isaiah Todd might be one of those guys. Jalen Green might be one of those guys. Because everybody think Jalen Green you gotta understand, Jalen Green was very close to R.J. Hampton. You follow me? Very close. So it's Jim, it's just a new ball game. If these young kids are that talented and basketball is their vocation, hey, Jimmy, I can't tell them not to go. I just want to make sure if you're a young guy, at least do some kind of college courses online. Please do some college coaches online. That's all.
But isn't the state understand that their actions are basically contradicting the concept of how important that we are saying college is to them. by their actions. College
No, no.
can't be. I ain't saying it wasn't important. I say that important to them
No,
because
I'm just saying, Jimmy, I hope they do. Might not be important to them. Cause me being in this business for 30 years, Jimmy, I know how fleeting these how fragile the human body is. And I know how every NBA player, every sports athlete, professional, it's gonna be an end point to their career. And that's all I'm saying. A young man, he better have a strong support system. Remember, I keep saying this, and I think I'm gonna harp on it until people really understand how important it is to have the right people. I'm gonna tell a story a little bit later, Jimmy, about the NBA. How important? Let me tell you something. Just like every event operator like Jimmy is not the same. Every coach is not the same. Every player is not the same. Every agent is not the same. Everybody in every sphere of influence is not the same. So everybody don't know how to do this stuff, Jimmy. And all I would say to young Isaiah Todd, I don't even know because I haven't even watched him that much. I just heard about him. I missed him on the EYBL. But Jimmy, basketball is probably his vocation. So I would never tell a kid, if you that good and you this young. See, Jimmy, when you're young like him, you can keep going back to the well if you stay healthy. You can keep going back to the well. But if I was his mom, I'll surround. He would have to. Me and him, if I was the mom, unless the mom might be the facilitator of it, I'll say, okay, this is what I'll do, young fella. Let's make a pact. If you want to do this, let's still work on your degree. Let's learn something. Hold up, not a degree. Just let's learn about business. Let's learn about business. Let's understand business. Let's figure out a way we can learn this sports business and business. That's what I would do. And if I was around him, I would, hey, Todd, every day, we got to take out a couple of hours now. Take out an hour here. Just like you work out, let's work on that muscle in your head. That's what I would do, Jimmy. But, hey, I don't have no problem with it.
And Houston Hornets ask you, which one prepares you for the league better, college, overseas, or G League?
Prepares you for the league? Not nobody prepare you for the league. If you play college basketball, you'll be more visible, Jimmy. It would add see, think about it. These owners, right? You got 30 owners. Jimmy, if you on TV over here all the time, one of those 30 owners gonna hear about Jimmy. They're not gonna hear about Luka Doncic over there all the time. Guess what? Because the owners ain't going over there. The scouts do. Now the scouts know about Luka and the people overseas, but the owner, the guy who write the check, he gonna know about old Jimmy. So it's important. The NCAA, no matter how we don't like it and they don't pay, let me tell you something. Zion Williamson got that contract from Nike. I promise you, on that platform with Duke. A lot of people might not agree with me, but when that shoe burst and that boy stuck with, and he didn't say nothing crazy about Nike, that added to his cachet. He was on TV every week. Everybody knew about it. Of course, Nike had to sign it. So, but every player ain't like Zion. So every player don't have that, but he benefited from it. I'll never forget. Antonio McDyess, he wasn't a prospect, but he went to Alabama and clowned in the NCAA in the tournament and got picked in the first round. So prepare you better. I put it like this. It depends on the player. That's the only thing I can tell you. It depends on the player. Because different players, some players go overseas and can't handle it. They go crazy. Some kids are like a fish out of water. Some kids that go to the G League where them grown men up there that's trying to feed their families, they'll get swallowed up. Then some players can't handle if they go to the G League and they sitting on the bench. Jimmy, because if they bring the top player, the two-way player, down to the G League, he got to play. So it's I put it like this: it's according to the player. Who was that asked that question, Jimmy? I want to talk personally to him.
That was before being ballers.
Before being ballers, it's no cookie cutter method. Just everybody the same. Each player is different, and that's not a way to copying out. But I've seen some people handle that stuff, and some people can't. Jimmy, that's all.
Kerry asked you, what online classes should a kid take? Robert, walk us through what you would do with the young man.
I don't know yet. I don't know. First of all, it's got to be the kid. First of all, you got to assess the kid. Just like I said a minute ago, Jimmy. It's not a book. They don't have this in a book. I have to read the kid first, understand who the kid is, and guess what I'll do then? Then I'll devise a plan for him. I can't sit up here and say, well, I'll have him take. Let me tell you something. Some of these kids don't even want, some of these kids ain't got time for that. So I got to make him learn sometimes. Some kids, I might have to make him learn without him thinking I'm learning. I got to groom him to think he's not learning. Jimmy, you got to understand, man, some of these athletes, God blessed them with so much talent basketball-wise, but God didn't give them everything, y'all. And listen to me now. He blessed them in some areas, but some of the areas that God didn't bless them in. You remember I told you about one of my clients, one of the top linebackers in history, Julian Peterson. Look him up. San Francisco, 49. He was dyslexic. Couldn't read, couldn't do nothing. There's a lot of stuff. But guess what? He got $30 million somewhere in the bank because God gave him that talent, and God gave him the talent to listen to the people he had around him. So it's no cookie cutter method that I can say, hey, just what you need to do, so-and-so. LeBron James, you need this. No, it's a process. And I hope, I'm sorry, Jimmy, and I hope that answered your question. I just want to let you know it's just these things, it's no manual for them. It's no manual for them. What else you got, Jimmy? Because I've been talking, I couldn't see.
Oh, man, I'm looking at the Facebook and the YouTube feed, and checking out some of the comments that people are making it on this Women Rock Win. Shout out to all the ladies out there. Anissa just joined us on the feed, and of course, Mindy as well. Shout out to all the females out there giving you a shout out. See you fellas too. It's Women Rock Wednesday, so you know how we do it on this Wednesday. And once again, coming up at the top of the hour, we expect it to be joined by John Lucas. So get your questions ready to roll out to Coach Lucas. We're going to have a hell of a convo for one whole hour with him about all a variety of topics. So make sure you brace yourselves for that. Now, of course, you just tune in. What I'm thinking, Heather, on my last comments on this topic, we're talking about the Isaiah Todd, and players who the new trend of, if you got a chance to forego college, taking advantage of it. Now, Isaiah Todd was on the front end or the front line. Remember, a year ago, Michigan hired Juwan Howard. And Juwan Howard, it was a good movement going on. Jalen Rose was playing the drum major in that band to get them in, which is rightfully so. Juwan Howard, it's not a bad call. Not a bad call at all. But then some people were led to believe from the smell of it, just sniffing, you can sniff the pots and tail was in it, that Juwan Howard gets the job that, now a lot of the top talent would, in that part of the country or in various people that got connections, would flock to Michigan. And one thing I said, and remember it came on the heels a year before that, is when Penny Hardaway got the job. And so then people were looking, because Penny had hit the coup but you had to retain those guys in order to be able to play the
I
game
mean, it
and
just had
win.
a mix
So,
up, just a mix up. Yeah,
but he, no, I mean, mix up was next. He got the kids there.
yeah,
He got them in school.
yeah. They
got them
came to school.
class.
Yeah,
So that way now our eyes were on Juwan Howard, because knowing that a lot of his allies would be helping. Isaiah Todd was one of the first, like I said, first in order. Now, what you're seeing now is when a lot of times these college coaches and grassroots coaches alike, you would preach the sermon about loyalty. But if a job comes open for you, you gone like a what?
turkey through the cone.
They gone. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Eating up every piece of cheese and bread. Think about it. You're gone. So then, but you're preaching loyalty to these kids. Then when the kids go and bounce on your ass, you're mad. You're upset. Then you start to question, what happens is people plant the directives into the minds of the media. Everybody has some media person in their pocket. And that's just, so to speak, meaning that as an ally, not necessarily for monetary purposes, but as a person that got your back, because that means it's a dual relationship, meaning that media person know that they can get the scoop hot off the grill from that person. In return, that person knows that media person has their back to plant their narrative in need, in case of emergency, break the glass. That's how it goes. So the narrative in this situation, what people they'll go and they'll jump on the kids. Well, what's wrong? These kids, they're crazy. They're going to pursuing pro options instead of an education, because that's one of the elements that this country was built on, was the educational component, meaning that you go and you get so much for free. Then after you get so much for free, then you could pay for secondary education in college, and you would pay for the most part for common folk to get the rest for 4 to 6 years on the average. Well, guess what? With this coming along, and what's happening is so many more young people are getting bags. Now, sure, there's a horror story you can think about, but the horror, and like a Brian Bowen,
and it's more horror stories than it is success stories.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And the most recent one would be the Brian Bowen, the young man whose name was in the center of one of the federal trials when his dad agreed to accepting a bag in
Start
exchange.
Start crying.
On the stand, he started crying. Yeah, he did. According
that
to
pappy was whining.
And so now you think about it. So you haven't heard his name ever since.
Nope.
Hadn't heard his name ever since.
No, sir.
So now, don't you trust me? See, the thing is, a kid like LaMelo Ball, if LaMelo Ball did not have all those followers, it would have been easier for the NBA to possibly blackball him based on his dad.
Jimmy, that kid can play, Jimmy.
I say it would have been easier. I didn't say they would have done it. It would have been easier, meaning that you see what the Balls did. And one thing about it, no matter what they did, you couldn't take away from the fact that every time you cut on, if you followed them or if you followed one of their pages, they kept you abreast to what every one of those sons are doing pretty much on the regular, day by day, week by week. They had a show, the reality show, whatnot. So I mean, they kept themselves relevant, but you had sometimes, like you're right, Al, you got to put the ball in the hole.
Yes,
you got the ball out. And what he did was, he did the smart gambling move. He hit a couple of licks, went to the restroom, put one stack in his sock, came back out, shot a couple of more shots, threw that back on the table, and then say, you know what, I'm out, guys, I'm broke. I'm gone. I'm cashing out. He didn't play the whole, he didn't give them a chance to say no. He played enough and got enough footage and saw and played in front of enough GMs or enough scouts
Yeah.
to validate his status.
Jimmy.
And they knew at that point they was good to go.
Over in a weak league. Over
It-
in a relatively weak league. Jimmy, I mean, it was good, but guess what though? The thing about the NBA, the first contracts, 4 years. You got to work to get to that second contract. But the first one, if you got the right one and take care of your money, you'll be all right if you're first round. So these guys were posturing themselves, and that's what Isaiah Todd is doing. Isaiah Todd said, man, why should I go make, hold on, why should I go make, what is his name? Dwight Howard.
yeah.
Oh, man, he got
Howard.
Juwan Howard. Why should we go make Juwan Howard all that money? Well, I can go make me some money. See, that's what didn't happen, y'all. Y'all, hey, Jimmy, it is y'all the big, y'all don't understand the impact that everybody, with that players likeness and image and likeness thing. And everybody became aware that the NCAA is getting all the money, and I ain't getting no money, and I can't do this, and I can't do this. Man, these players saying, hold up, the top players. And the top players saying, hold on, man. If I got a chance to go do what LaMelo, but see, people don't understand now. And I think Rod Hampton came on one of our, if y'all go back and listen to one of our Friday editions of the Chop Shop. Go back on YouTube and check it out. Rod Hampton said something. He said, man, you know, it's just a plan. This thing is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? His thing is not for everybody. And you just got to, once you commit to it, you just got to commit to it and live it out. If it worked, it worked. Because guys like Jimmy gonna say, was that the plan?
Was that part of the plan?
Guys like you,
basically my way.
Y'all can't wait.
It's basically no. I mean, it's basically I'm not as aggressive with it as before. My thing is I just plant the seed to explain to people. Okay, if things don't go as you plan, please accept it for what it is and push on through. That's all.
No. And what I used to tell you, you got to have a plan B and a C, like the NBA and the NFL. And all of these sports teams, they got a plan A, plan B. If it go here, plan C. That's what you got to have. Because in sports, Jimmy, in sports, stuff just don't work out for the number one pick. Anthony Bennett. In sports, Greg Odom. Can't miss. In sports just, let me tell y'all something. We live in this fantasy world thinking that just cause a guy, listen to this, y'all. Just cause a guy go to the McDonald's game, it don't automatically equates to success. All it does, Jimmy, hear your words, is give you, Kwame Brown, give you the opportunity. You like that, Jimmy? Give you the opportunity. To be there. Because you make you have a chance. When you get drafted in the first round, all it does is give you an opportunity for about 3 years, really, to prove yourself. Check this out. 3 years to prove yourself. That's all it does. Give you 3 years to prove yourself. Are they gonna opt in on that fourth year for you? Are they gonna opt in on that third and fourth year for you? So all of this, y'all, is subjective. So if a guy don't make it, it's okay. Don't but 1% make it. You gotta realize, Jimmy, every day somebody is going into the draft. So these guys, there's other options out there. These guys rather go overseas than to stay over here and get a college education. I mean, just like I had the right, I never forget that. I had the right to groom my son the way you notice. I never forced that opinion on nobody else. And it always comes with a disclaimer, Jimmy. I always say everybody ain't built to be no athlete that like that and be able to process the harvest and everybody ain't built like that. So I wish it for every child, but I know that's not possible. So I wish the NBA on everybody, but I know that's not possible. It ain't but 450 of them gonna have a job. So Jimmy, that's why I was so passionate about what CJ McCallum said about you get a chance to be in this position and and make this money. Matter of fact, the minimum, the lowest amount a guy gonna make is $800,000 a year, and you around here living check to check. You might as well not even got it. Move out the way and let somebody else in to do it. That's all. What else you got?
Oh man, I mean, hey, as you guys are getting it, and we're putting it out there where the goats can get it.
That's all.
And that's the thing. Just
I'm trying to break it down.
In life, as always, and one of the Canluts on our YouTube feed, he summed it up. He said, college is a business. The NCAA is a business. If Isaiah Todd played baseball, tennis, or golf, this would not be a conversation. So it's an eye-opening, put things in perspective.
And we know that. I mean, Jimmy, we've been saying that on the show for 4 years. Why can't let's been?
Yeah.
that is not a new revelation.
I mean, no, but I mean for people in this topic that are just chiming in.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
And that which is true. Just the thing is, Isaiah Todd, he will have an option, and he's one of the main reasons because of the relationships that a lot of people have, and saying that the family has not declined the rumor that there's a possibility that they could do the G League and be the pioneers. See, here's one of the things about that G League program as the professional path, the one that Rod Strickland is over. Whoever's there first, they will not let fail. I say that again. Whoever is the first player to come out of high school and come through that program, the NBA will protect them, meaning that they will put them through there, let them play the G League 1 year, and whoever program gets them, they're going to make somebody, Adam Silver, somebody's going to give some perks to the owner to say, hey, look, we got to bring this one up, because if it does, it makes the program become 10 to 100 times more attractive.
And I'm going to tell you something unique too, Jimmy, that's going to happen in the next 2 years. We got 28, I think we got 28 now, if I'm not sure. We got 28 G League teams. When it gets to 30, that's when a lot of things going to change. I'm going to tell you why. So each team will have their own farm system. They don't have to be in a pool. Each team have their own. So guess what? They can draft their stats or get those. They can put those young guys on a track for their particular team. I'm just telling you what's about to happen. They can put them in their system or promise it, but you got to be 18. To do it. You got to be 18. That's the key. I looked up the rule the other day. So it's a unique thing, because guess what? 125,000, an 18-year-old coming out of high school making 125,000. You tell me where you got to do. Y'all tell me a 18-year-old. So they try, Jimmy. They're trying to do something. Y'all got to realize now we mad at the NBA. But it's them NBA players that shot that deal down, the one and done, coming out of high school thing. Let's get that straight.
Say it again.
The NBA Players Association. Guess why? We don't want them young dudes coming in. They'll take some of our old guys that's hanging around on the end of the bench. Jimmy, you rather have a young kid on the end of that bench than an old dude, because his salary going to be a little bit higher. His veteran minimum going to be higher than a young guy. So guess what? That's what people don't understand. They mad at the NBA. It's not the NCAA rule. John just joined in too. Let me put it.
Wait, no, he's not on yet.
Okay. Let me put you on mute. You good? You good? Oh, so
And
Jimmy.
so, of course, you just wonder what that was, guys.
Yeah.
At the top of the hour, we're going to be joined shortly by John Lucas. We're going to have a great convo with him. And so Tavia was setting that up for him. And they get everything set up, and to come on and join us and have that great convo with you guys about various levels of basketball. Now, meanwhile, speaking of the topic that we were on, Haddle, and one of the things that I want to mention to you, speaking of transfers now, and I was looking, Jeff Goodman wrote an article the other day, right, on the Stadium Basketball Insider.
Jimmy,
and understand he's giving these numbers.
Your screen
of the players in the transfer portal.
Jimmy, your screen,
right?
Your
of
screen
all the players in the transfer
can't hear
portal,
me.
the ones who went from mid-level to high level. Hold on, what's going on? I done froze up.
Yeah, I was trying to tell you your screen is frozen. For some reason, it is frozen, but we gonna. I don't know what happened. There you go. You're back. Now you're back. They'll get it. They'll get it now.
Okay, good.
That's all right.
Now, I was talking about the article. I still can't see myself.
Thank you, Angie. I see you. They see you. So you can't see yourself. They see you, Jimmy.
Okay, good. Okay. Now, here's what I was talking about. Mm-hmm. Of all of the transfers last year, Division I men's basketball, that went from a mid-level school to a high-level school, right? Mm-hmm. A mid-level to a high level. Power 7. Mm-hmm. There were only 50 that transferred up. Everybody thinks that they're going to transfer up initially when they leave in certain schools, because sometimes some of those kids would think about the schools who recruited or offered them when they were in leaving high school or their last season, and they think about those. You're thinking, well, they want me really bad. I can go to that school. You don't realize, and you hadn't resonated that those schools have moved on. A portal is that important now, and a lot of people really, really don't get it about this portal. And I explained to you guys, we've been talking about this and hitting this nail on the head. But once again, out of the 50, remember, only 50 transferred up. Only 50.
But Jimmy, it makes sense, Jimmy. It makes sense to me. And when I thought about it, because we was talking about it, you sent me that article. Jimmy, let me tell you something. I talked to some Division II coaches who some guys was in the transfer, Division I guys in the transfer, lower, in the transfer of, mid-majors. They said those guys couldn't come play for them. Dude, this basketball thing, man, listen to me, man. We got a guy coming on here in a little bit that we're really he's gonna give it to you raw now. So don't get mad. But it's this basketball, y'all. It's so being around this thing for 30, in the business wise of it, 30 years, and that's what we're talking about. Because sports is, what she said, college of business. Hey, Jimmy, high school of business now. Because you're transferring to a certain high school to get your way. Excuse me. Cade Cunningham going to Mount Vernon was a business decision. Let me repeat that so the people in the back can hear it. Cade Cunningham going and playing for Mount Vernon, that was a business decision too, Jimmy. So it's crazy. We just got to be able to understand it. She just said it. It's business. So don't get mad. Don't get mad. Jim, you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and of course, if you're just tuning in, coming up, we're expected to be joined shortly with John Lucas, and we're going to have a hell of a convo with John, and we'll touch a lot of topics. So just want to remind you of that. So he's going to be coming to John. We're talking about the transfers, and I'll give you guys these stats from those 50, of the 50 who went from a mid-level to a Power 7 to a high major school. Remember, only 50. Here's the deal on those. 7 of the 50 average double figures. Only 7 of the 50 average double figures, right? Mm-hmm. Only 13 of the 50 averaged at least 25 minutes per game. That means you played a little bit more than half a game, 52%, 53, 55% of the game, right? At least, guess how many averaged at least 10 field goal attempts per game? Out of those 50 who went from a mid-level college and said, I'm going in the portal, man. You know, I led the team in scoring. I did this. I'm good enough. I'm all conference at my mid-level school. And I happen to go to a high major school. Of all of those, guess how many averaged at least 10 field goal attempts per game out of the 50? 3. Only 3 players this past season. This is one of the things that this number supports the theory that the majority of players don't transfer up. And even for the ones who do, the odds are stacked against you because your role is a whole new role at that time. You're no longer the red ant in your ant bed. You just an ant.
You know what? And I see, Jimmy, kids who legitimately didn't even see the court at the D1 level, right? This what got me think they can jump down to a D2 or NAIA level or D3 program and not even crack the top 7 or 8. Y'all don't understand. It's a lot of people out here can play basketball. Mamas and daddies, it's a lot of people out here know how to play basketball all over the world. We ain't talking about, and then you got to compete. And if you're talking about going to the NBA, you're not just competing, Jimmy Hicks, with the guys over here in your neighborhood. All district ain't enough. Jimmy, all state ain't enough. You got to be almost the hold up, Jimmy. Really and truly to make it in the NBA. Golly. Jimmy, because it's 50 states. Okay? Let me break it down. It's 50 states. Let's say you the best player in your state in all 50 states. That's 50 players. Right? 50 players. Jimmy, don't but 60 of it players all over the world get drafted. So you got to be like the best guy in your region. You got to be like the best guy in your part of the world. That's how important. But I know you was talking about transferring. Yeah. I was just trying to parallel. You was just, what you was trying to say is, like, see, what happens is guys like the little guy Mooney. I think they mentioned him. The guy that went to Texas Tech, he went up and he balled out. But he is a unicorn. A lot of guys just don't. This thing, man. Wait till John get on here.
We do stuff. We do when it comes to basketball. Mm-hmm. We just do. It's like Chris Walker said it best. I mean, it's like we're horrible when it comes to math and thinking that and understanding the percentages, and a lot of college coaches. Speaking of transfers, as it's staying right now, as of yesterday, you know how many transfers are in the portal, guys?
How many?
670. As of yesterday.
And some ain't even here yet.
Exactly. The grades hadn't even came in for a lot of the kids yet. They haven't had those exit meetings via Zoom or whatnot yet with their coaches. A lot of them have 670, including 150 graduate transfers.
Jimmy, this the problem right here. I love it. I love it. Daryl Garrett. Daryl Garrett. He said the kid from Baylor transferred from a D1 unicorn. I mean, from a D3 unicorn. You remember the big kid from Baylor who just wasn't that good in high school? He'll tell you, I wasn't that good in high school. I didn't play on none of the top teams. I wasn't that good. He got to Baylor, and he just got good. Hey, have you ever thought about Daryl Garrett? The people in Baylor just were able to pull something out of him that he didn't even know he had in him. Jimmy, what do you think about that?
I mean, understand, the numbers does not justify that it can't happen to anybody.
Yeah.
The numbers are letting you know there were only 50 players that transferred up a year ago
50.
that played this past season on D1 rosters. Of those 50 who played, only three averaged 10 field goal attempts or more.
Jimmy,
If you think
Jimmy, hold up, Jimmy, because I missed that. Do you realize what you just said?
Yeah.
Say it again. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. It just shocked me because I didn't hear it the first time. Say that again.
Out of the 50 players who transferred from a mid-level to a high-level school in Division I basketball prior to last season and played this year, there were 50 who played this year. So that means it may be a few more who probably had to sit out, right? Of the 50 who played, only 3 averaged 10 field goal attempts or more. Only 3. Understand, you see, the field goal attempts mean something because you can't tell me that you were at school A last year and you averaged about maybe 30 minutes a game. You did well, right? You were starting, you were all conference. You averaged about 15 shots a game. And then you go and transfer to school B where you believe, you thinking it's going to be the same because you've been led to believe that the talent that you scored this against will transition over. How they say in high school, college buckets. Well, your SWAC buckets are not Big 12 buckets.
I found, yeah.
But then nobody can tell you.
And Jimmy, let me break it down to him, Jimmy.
Different.
Jimmy, the defenders are different.
Absolutely.
The length of the people on the back line are different. It's a lot of factors go into that, but keep going. You're right. And so what happens is, remember, the field goal attempts. So that means now one of the reasons that a lot of these young men are trying to seek out a better, what they consider greener grass. Now, guess what? The budget is better at most of those schools that you transfer up to. Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, it's a whole different way you travel.
Yes, sir.
Whole different thing you eat.
Hey, Jimmy.
And you eat after the game.
Jimmy, your gear is different. The girls are different. Everything is different.
So what happens in understanding when speaking of transfers, a lot of coaches are opting in the college level are opting for the transfer portal as opposed to the high school. So this means the number, because the high school portal now, people see how it goes. It had to take 2 years. There's no tricks to that. You can't trick that. As I told you, speaking of transfers, this morning, the news is official that former Houston-Madison High School star Jeremiah Gambrell, he signed with Western Kentucky along with that class that came in with Charles Bassey and all that. Well, Jeremiah Gambrell transferred. He made his decision this morning. Guess where he's going? To Prairie View. Now, Prairie View, budget-wise, is a different degree of Western Kentucky's budget. But when Jeremiah Gambrell left Western Kentucky, in his mind, he probably felt that, remember, let me add something to this, a prerequisite to this. Let me give you a disclaimer. Guess who Jeremiah Gambrell was committed to before he signed with Western Kentucky?
Baylor.
Guess who he was committed to?
Baylor.
The Baylor Bears in the 10th grade. He was offered a scholarship to Baylor.
What Tang at? Who offered that one? What Tang at?
Tang, you know what? I should have asked.
Oh, no. Jimmy. No, it was a group effort.
But so now you guys see how this stuff goes, how it can, and what it does, it pierces you in the heart for those who really love basketball, because it's nothing. Think about it, and it can scar some of these young men for the rest of their lives.
What? Not being able?
Well, because you're thinking in your mind, you'll spend so many years afterwards kicking yourself in the butt. Kicking yourself in the ass. You're thinking about, man, I should have took that. I shouldn't have never did this. I should have never did that. And what you're not doing is, you as a young person. That's why I invite you, grown folk, to start just having a conversation with the young people. Listen, ain't no problem with you going to do this over here. But whatever happens, you need to be accountable for your decisions. So
Jimmy, I think they are. I think we don't, because we can't live in their head, in their households. Those kids be accountable of their decisions. It's just the people around them, the press and the media and everybody. That's where the kids get the big. That's where the kids get the biggest thing from, because I've been blessed to go to this. I'm blessed to have an offer from so and so, and I can go here and I can go there. And then, Jimmy, of course, that's just human nature. That's human nature, because guess what? To everybody else, it's a failure to them. I mean, he didn't make it there, Robert. He didn't go there. Quinn Grimes, y'all know. I mean, think about it. That's why, if y'all ever notice, I was so empathetic for the young man Quinn Grimes. I'd never been in his situation. But all I did was I said, man, what if he my son? What if he was my son? I see him about to sit down. We ready. It's 1 o'clock. Hey, John Lucas be on time. You know what, Jimmy? Let me tell you something. He got his mask on. Man, you got to take the mask on. You in the house, man. Hey. But John, hey, Jimmy, as customary, when we have a guest this great, because y'all got to understand, this is just not a guy that's just about to come on this show. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm going to tell him now. I hate to tell him. This guy about to come on now, Jimmy, happened to be my hero. Don't y'all tell him. He was an All-American, the best tennis player in the country, and the best basketball player in the country at the same time. And I played basketball and tennis growing up and in college. And this was my hero. I don't even really know if I told him that. And I got a chance to come up here and hang and be around my hero. So y'all finna meet him in a minute. But Jimmy, I ain't never told nobody that story. But Jimmy, I'm going to let you introduce him.
Hey, guess what? We get right into it, guys, on the Chop Shop. And what we're going to do, ask you guys right now, shout out to our YouTube audience as well as our Facebook audience. To all you guys, you can share the show right now to your timelines and your friends. We have with us, I'm talking about the first guard to be selected number 1 in the NBA draft. And understand it. We talking about a guy that and with all due respect of of all our black history.
Yeah.
You see, he's known for the branding, the mustache. Listen, that mustache, I found out and realized where it came from just last week when I thought about one of my idols, and that was the Earl Graves Sr.
Yes.
Passed away last week.
Black Enterprise.
Black Enterprise. Well, Earl Graves Sr., he was known for his
sideburn.
For an originator. He had the old school sideburn. If you take Lucas' mustache And it like he stole it from Grave because Grave didn't wear no mustache. Luke don't wear this, and he just took it from old Grave. And that's where it came from. And also, guess what? He's a super tennis player.
Yes, sir.
But I know one person by being in respect of Women Rock Wednesday. There's a lady that you guys can Google this name if you're not from Houston. Her name is Zena Garrison, and she maintains that she will whoop not only John Lucas's ass, but your ass too, Hatter, in that tennis if she catch y'all in McGregor Park one day.
She probably could be me. But let me break John on the screen.
What?
John, Tavi got you muted, John. Tavi, yeah, tell her she got you muted because I took you off the mute. Tell her.
Don't let John touch it.
Don't let John. John, don't hit the wrong button. John, hit the microphone, John. It's a little microphone on the screen. Put
there
you go. There you go. My man, she can do it.
Let's start with Hatter. You were born in my gym at Fondue Recreation Center, the second coming of Magic Johnson, when he and Carl Poston brought Penny Hardaway in the gym for me to train. Now, I first met Hatter with Penny. And at that time, they were probably the LeBron James and Clutch of their time.
Right.
They had all of the top, especially black class, in football, basketball, baseball, from Charles Woodson to Penny to Robert Horry, and Hatter oversaw all of them. And, Hatter would help them to get where. So I got to see Penny, and I immediately called Hill, who was the coach at Orlando, and I said, do you remember this, Hatter? I told him, if you don't take Penny Hardaway to go along with Shaquille O'Neal, you have lost your mind. Because I think he had such a high IQ. Now, Jimmy and I go all the way back to Camp Rightway at the very, very beginning when we did it. And I don't even know, Jimmy, if you'll remember, because of you and I, they changed the college recruiting rule. Because we had at the camp, Hatter, all college coaches who were counselors. And Billy Gillespie offered Isaiah Austin and some of the kids who were there scholarships. And Coach Tang wanted to be grandfathered in because he knew that they were going to make it so 8th graders would become recruitable. Remember, Jimmy?
Absolutely. I remember it like yesterday.
And that was Rasheed Suleiman, DJ Griggs, Lil Griggs' older brother. Who else was in that class?
Weston Shepherd.
Weston Shepherd. L.J. Rose. That was one of our best classes of basketball here. And then we all emerged and gone and do other things. But that was the beginning of that camp. And that camp had Rodney Terry was an assistant coach. Bedford was an assistant coach. And then they guys offered, that was one of the, with coaches, I've never seen coaches work so hard. And that's what's getting ready to happen again now, because my daughter was telling me you all were talking about transfer portals, right?
Yes, sir.
It is really going to be hard to keep college scholarships because people will be taking scholarships, and now coaches will really be thought of in a wrong light for trying to better their teams in order to take a guy's scholarship who may be their 10th, 11th, and 12th guy to get a guy that may be better for me than my team. You really got to do your homework now. And before we get there, one of the things that's making me mad right now, AAU coaches are getting people to offer their kids. I got AAU people, but you're doing such a disservice to get people to offer kids scholarships in the 9th or 10th grade that aren't even real offers. So you get your buddy who's on the staff to make an offer to a kid, then tell that kid, because all these kids now that I talk to, we didn't get any offers. You lost your mind. You don't need but one offer. Your junior year. That's the only offer you can accept. If you try to accept that offer, I had that, I won't tell you with who, but he was a famous AAU guy. and he had a son that wanted to go to Kentucky. Kentucky offered him just so they could be in the ball game. He got an offer from Kentucky, Carolina, Duke, and the day he wanted to go to Carolina. They told him they couldn't accept it. He wanted to go to Duke. They told him they couldn't accept it. Then he wanted to go to Kentucky. They didn't. And he was with the same shoe people that all of those shoe teams were with, and he ended up going with an Adidas school in Indiana.
Wow.
No loyalty, and I mean, I would probably be a part of it too if I was coaching now. You'd have to be a part of it because that's the business. Right. Man, you better really do your research and find the best possible fit for you, your kid, and stop worrying about how many offers you got or how you build up your Twitter. Because I see another thing, I got all these guys on these video virtual things going on trying to teach basketball. And some of them don't know what the hell they talking about out there. They got them videos out there and they showing all these moves, but now you're gonna have to go back and learn it all over again. You don't have time to make mistakes like you used to correct it, because now you don't get a year to sit out. Think about it. You can't sit out to get nothing but training all year. You either got to come in that school and be better than those other kids, because you're going to be transferring again. Wow. And it's a dangerous business that you have got to get the right input. So, me and Hatter argue about people playing up, playing 17. Yeah. When you be playing 15, 16. Because what the trick is, you get judged at being, what do you tell me, Jimmy? As a 17. You don't get judged. You don't have a lecture to say, well, he's only 15 playing 17s. No, you being judged as a 17. But you as a parent, you want to go back and get ranked as a 16. So when you don't play the style that fits you, or you don't go with what fits you, it hurts you in the overall. Because I thought the ultimate goal was to get a scholarship or a chance to play pro ball. Yeah. So, if you got that skill set, so many people get lost with that. Like I got a nephew that said, with Coach Davis, he played at Bel Air, runner, shooter. Mm-hmm. Now the virus has really helped him. You can't see outside, but he been up early since 7 o'clock in the morning, 1,000 shots outside by himself. He played the whole team. Why is he going to the University of Troy? So he can play. That's why he's going. So I'm fighting with his mom, my relatives, because they now think he need to be at State, North Carolina, because they from Durham. And I'm going, y'all lost your mind. But the problem is, you gonna listen. If I gotta go get a heart surgeon, I don't know he's had at least some experience doing heart surgery.
Wow.
I can't just want to listen to somebody who ain't never had a heart surgery. But yet, since I'm going to tell you the truth, I become the enemy, because the truth ain't got what you want to hear. Then when it's all over, now you want me to fix it, or you want to redo it, and it's too late. It's too important.
Wow. He came in smoking. John, you didn't even give him a warm-up. You came in. Well, no,
one of the things you all have such a great vehicle to tell people about what's going on. But part of the problem that is really messing up our grassroots, especially Houston. Okay. First of all, we're not that good. We're not. Basketball is in cycle waves, and so Dallas is ahead of us with more talent right now. Okay. But it'll come back to Houston as we get older. We were really good early. Right. Now we have a few guys that are really, really good, but overall, they probably have more. And I would probably say it's because it's just the way cycles go. And so when our cycle comes back, and I think we'll have it, we'll do it. But the love of basketball in our city isn't, and the love of teaching it isn't the same. See, people who really love basketball teach for free. But see, this has become a money grab for everybody. And so people will respond to me, well, shit, he worked with the Rockets. So he don't need no money to get there. He can do all that. No, if I'm gonna get the worst thing, the most valuable thing I can do is give you my time. And the most valuable thing you can do is give somebody their time. But if you give them their knowledge, but what people want to do is come in and spend 5 or 10 minutes with you all and see how you all run the chop shop, and then they're gonna try to go do the chop shop. People come in your gym and they see a few things and they think, well, I can do that. I played at this level, I played at that level. But the intricacies, the little minute things you need to know to be successful has to be a big part of it. Like you all have a great chemistry about you all. So that, you know, people say, well, we ain't got to have that. Yeah, you do. I argue with us with the Rockets. It ain't numbers, it's chemistry. If we got great chemistry, we win. If our chemistry screwed up, I don't care what the numbers say. We're going to end up losing because at the end of the day, somebody ain't going to make the right pass because they're looking at their numbers.
Oh.
And sometimes you don't make the right decisions because it's one thing you can't measure is what's inside somebody. So the first question I always ask kids, tell me about where you come from. So I want to know what you're fighting for. See, because in 86, I was an old dope fiend. Everybody talking about me. I'm an old dope fiend. You through, man. You done in this city. You finished. You ain't going to never play basketball again. You ain't going to do this. I'm a 3-time coach, general manager, wrote all the policies for all 4 major league sports. Well, they told me I was through in. And when you get broken, that's when you want. That's why when people don't come to my gym often because they waiting on tell me how good they are. I ain't telling you, coach. I'm a real coach. Coach, you ain't that good yet. There's a big world out there. And I don't care what you get on RCS rankings. I don't care about Sloan rankings. I don't care about who you put on Twitter. That don't mean nothing to me. I'm going to see with my own eyes before I know.
I'm just quiet.
Hey, and John, feel free, guys. If you have questions for Coach Lucas, post them on there. And we're talking right now. Coach Lucas is definitely dropping nuggets and preaching right out the gates for you guys on the Chop Shop right now. One question is, somebody have kind of shift the gears for you and loosen you up a little bit is, right now, Coach, Lil Rick asked this question for you. Say, right now in 2020, if you, Lil John, and Jay all shot 100 3-pointers, who would make the most?
John would make the most.
Who would come in last, Coach? Who would come in last?
I would beat Jay because I'll blow in Jay's ear and start talking to him and he go sideways. But I couldn't get John to go sideways. He focused. I'm gonna tell you something about John and the reason why. I used to make him play in the men's league when he was at Bel Air. So after he go to practice, he played like a fall men's league at a gym. And he got a tooth put in the middle of his head. And if you ever see Lil John again, he's bald head now, he got like a little keloid. So I pulled the tooth out and told him keep playing the game. He played in the game, came home, and we ate dinner. And then Devin said to me, well, we need to go get his hat fixed. Get his head fixed. He got 5 stitches. I never seen any really good basketball players. And you can always check, Jimmy, you and for coaches who are out there. If you ever see Justice Winslow, he got a scar on his neck right here. Right here on the side of his neck. Good basketball players have injuries and bumps and bruises you've seen on them that they come through something. You know, if you see a basketball player look like you and Jimmy, he ain't playing no basketball.
Coach, you wrong for that, Coach. Hey, I never get Coach told me, Jimmy, just Coach gonna tell me, man, remember now, you good, but I'm great. I
said, so now, hey, Coach, now speaking of the shooting, taking that topic, what are your thoughts from the horse that the NBA constructed this past weekend?
Didn't watch 2 minutes of it.
Why not?
It wasn't realistic.
No, it's terrible.
It's like somebody training you on virtual on this. This is a necessity. But I'm gonna tell you. So you were here. The little bit I did. So somebody said, "Is that on the left side or the right side?" That's a marketing tool to keep basketball people interested and to feed the appetite of basketball. That's the same way, Jimmy, of going to a tournament where nobody's going to be there to see it. Well, it's the same way of playing fall league games that don't matter. It's another way to give you some entertainment. So it's important. And people say, well, you get a chance to see play. Well, most coaches already got the team picked out. Most people already done the preparation work. So I think a lot of that is what goes on there. So I didn't watch a lot of it. And then the other part of it, when everything's tape delayed and I already know the results, I really ain't gonna watch that. That's why I'm a big Insecure man, that HBO movie, with the girls on it. Issa Rae and them.
Yeah.
I love the first series. I saw all the series and then I watched that because I can't go nowhere. I got to stay in the house.
Hey, John, I got one for you.
New series started on Sunday. But see, basketball, if I watch you play enough basketball, I can tell who you are in life. Because I can tell what kind of risk you take, how you play defense. If you out to get steals, that means you're going to be aggressive. If you lay back and you never take an aggression, then that means you're going to be able to be bullied a little bit. You can tell all of your basketball game. Basketball will define your life for you. By the way, it defines your personality. If you're aggressive, like John just willed his way to be a good player. Wasn't a great player, but I told John the greatest thing you can do because of your size is be the best teammate you can do and become ML Carr if you don't play. Just be so positive for your teammates. People want you around. And if in the NBA, they pay you $1 million just to wave a towel and be happy, be on time, shut up, don't come in my office and ask about when you're going to play. That's one heck of a living. And the other thing, so another thing make me mad, now, even in our league.
Come on.
They talk about utilizing playing time. We don't play, what they call it?
Load management.
Load management. That's the biggest. Now we do a lot of that there. James Harden don't miss no games.
Right.
Russell Westbrook got 7 knee surgeries. He ain't missing no games. May miss practice, but I went to go watch a high school game this year for the NBPA Top 100, and none of the kids were playing because they were load management. In a 32-minute game in high school. And they played Tuesdays and Fridays. Now, you know what the coach was really telling me? He was finding another way to play the other kids who don't play enough on the bench because the kids who are spending the most money ain't getting enough time.
Wow. John, I got some questions for you. They was asking you, they said, does Mr. Lucas follow the local high school teams or does he follow? You can't do that, John, can you? You can't follow.
Who you want to know about? Who you want to know about?
Rodney Wells, who you want to know about? Okay, wow. And then, John, another person
and then another thing, had I see you at a whole lot of high tire games, sit your ass down over there.
That ain't the only school now. He got another school. He got another school he go to.
Hey, man, hold up. It's close to the house.
I don't have a problem with that. I thought the High Tower team was really solid. I thought Shadow Creek was going to have a really good chance. I got to see them a few times. And, with our team, with Richard Lowe, who coaches the 15, Marlins, who coaches the 15s, and Richard, 16s, I got a chance to see some of them. And Courtney Brooks does a lot of our scouting for us. So I get to see a lot of them.
So wait a minute. So Courtney Brooks is your scout?
Okay.
He's one of and then there's a group of guys that think that they know a lot of basketball. I talk Alex Pugh, all of them, the guys that are really around.
So Alex Pugh is part of your scout? He part of the scout team?
They all love and sit and talk basketball.
Oh my God.
They do a really, really good job. And so I get to watch a lot of the games that I saw. I saw Bel Air had a really good year this year.
Yeah,
Yes.
I watched some of the private school games too with Kincaid, and I watched St. John's, and I watched a couple. You know, when I go to the games to watch, people think I'm there to watch the kids. I'm really there to watch the coaches, see what they implement for their team, how they best get what's the best out of their team, style of play. You know, whether a team gets on an 8-0 run or a 6-0 run, does the coach call a timeout, try to slow the run down? Or when he gets on a run, does he call timeout to kill his momentum because he called a timeout? I mean, what, you know, I'm just trying to figure it out, then watch the players.
And
now, the guy that's gotten bigger here this year, and I think it's really improved, he's really improved his outside shot some this year, has been Griggs. Bryce has really improved his Griggs. He's gotten stronger, he's gotten thicker. I've watched him a little bit, and you know, I watched him a lot this year. I think he playing better on both ends of the floor than he has. I liked him a lot. I liked who else did I see that I like? I like little Jacob Cole over at Bel Air. I think he can do multiple things. I like there's some really good players. I didn't get to Eddie and CJ. Eddie, I was involved a little bit with Eddie making his decision to TCU. And I saw LJ, and he scores points. And well, I don't know if he'll be able to be allowed to score like that at Baylor. I think he's going to be really good. And I think we have some good pockets of some really good players.
Hey, what about Will Young, coach?
And I really like the kid Terrence Arsenault, who played for us. I think he's got a lot of length and lanky. Amari Abrams. So I get to see a little bit of the games, and then I follow what I read and see.
Have you heard Will Young's mom is on the screen? She said, "What about Will Young at Shadow Creek?"
What's your evaluation of him?
Of Will Young.
I like Will. Will was on our team last year. I like Will. Will really matured this year. I watched him closely. I love the way he had matured, and his game was different this year. I saw that he came off the bench a little bit, but I really liked his game, and I really liked his grand. Old Juice could really play now.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, Juice goes back, and so I really like Will's got to improve his shooting, and he's got to definitely define what he wants to be as a playmaker or a scorer. But I do like his game.
Speaking of playmaking, Coach, okay. I was watching somebody had posted, I think, recently. Are you there? Can you hear?
Yeah, he can hear you.
Okay. And there was a clip when you played for the Spurs.
They shortchanged me, Jimmy. That was 14, and that was in 28 minutes. It should have been about 36. George Gervin didn't play that game.
That's okay.
Jimmy. I don't mean to. I have to tell Russ and all of those. They all think I can't play. They look at me now, and I'm 60-some years old, so I lost my muscle tone and everything. They just think that they would have destroyed me when I played.
No.
I told man, I don't know if any of them could have played when I played. And by the way, I'm also mad. They talk about all this Rocket stuff. Y'all too young. The best Rocket team was my 76 Rocket team, because now we got 3 Hall of Famers. Murphy, Moses,
and you.
And Rudy T.
And Rudy, yeah.
And then if I hadn't had my drug issue, that'd been 4.
You're a Hall of Fame in my book, Coach, but keep going.
But I ended up in the Hall of Shame for a while. I'm okay with that. I'm 35 years clean now, Adam.
Now, of course, in that game.
No, Jimmy, I got one more player. We can't let Herb Baker get. We got a little kid at Lamar, Sir Isaac Heron. Have you seen him play yet?
I haven't seen him. I just see Herb has sent me some clips. I love the athleticism from what I saw. But I got clips from Herb, and I haven't seen him. But I've been following Herb and what he's doing in Miami.
Okay.
And I'm up on top of this.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. My Rocket stuff.
Now, of course, I want to remind you guys in that game we were talking about a while ago, Coach, it was in 84, and John Lucas posted a stat line. It was against the Spurs against Denver. He had 0 points, 24 assists, only 2 turnovers in the 28 minutes. So that was the significance of that stat line.
Did he shoot any balls?
And there you go right there.
I didn't shoot any.
You didn't shoot any?
All players remember every game. That was the last game of the regular season, and we were all going to play 24, 28 minutes each. And neither one of us were going to make the playoffs. I think it was against the Denver Nuggets.
It was the Nuggets.
See, I haven't even looked at it. And I probably went left 100% of the time.
And couldn't nobody stop it, though, John.
Well, we got that with the Rockets. You seen anybody stop James Harden?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
And speaking of the NBA, Coach, what's the reality in your thoughts of you have a solution for the return of the NBA? What does it really look like now that's going to happen?
Jimmy, to be real honest, I don't know. It's we hope by the first of the year that we'll know something. But if and when it does, it'll be 2 weeks of player development. Then it'll transition into 2 weeks of team play. And then you have to decide based on a TV package. See, one of the problems is a lot of teams need another 8 to 10 games for those teams to get their TV revenue of about $70 million. Then you have to decide if you go right into the playoffs, why were the teams that were close or 2 or 3 games out, why didn't they make the playoffs? That's two. Then now you got to quarantine everybody, and then you won't be able to go to different hotels. If you do it, then your team, let's say you're the Rockets, you're going to have to stay at the Post Oak Hotel. You can't leave that hotel and go mingle and eat and stuff. Your food and everything has to be in. Hatter has the Denver Nuggets, and they're over at the Westin. They can't leave the Westin. They got to do everything there at the Westin. Then you play at that arena. Then you got to desanitize the whole arena for the next team that comes back in there to play the next game. So it depends upon if we don't come up with something that can give adequate protection. I'm a little nervous about what we're going to do about the start. Now you get to the point, I think we can play all the way into October, because if we play games once football starts and we don't have to play on Sundays, then we don't affect football.
So
then the playoffs would be best 2 out of 3. And we could have a new basketball season. It could be Christmas or the first of the year to the end of June.
Yeah.
So the theory about Las Vegas, has that been scrapped?
I don't think that it's been scrapped, but you think about it. If you come there, just think about it. You're a team player. You're going to get paid either way. And your wife, your friend, your girlfriend can't come. They can, nobody, you're going to be there 30 days or 60 days. Just you and your team.
And
you're going to take your temperature every day. You're going to play. That team comes over. Why would I allow you to go from the Post Oak Hotel over to the Westin? So that means you're going to be quarantined at the Post Oak Hotel the whole time you're there.
Wow.
It's really complicated. It's not a no. I just got to see how the intermixing will mix it. They can come up with some kind of antibiotic. Everybody would have to be tested every day. Once you tested positive, you would have to be removed from that environment. So let's just say, for whatever reason, the Lakers and LeBron James in Game 3, fever was high that day. He's not going to play. You're not going to let him play. He may not have the virus. He's got all the symptoms. Do you let him play and then infect everybody else? If he does have it, I mean, those are all of the uncharted answers to the questions. And I think that they'll figure it out, and I think they have a plan. But that's why, it's funny. I was following Florida. Florida made sports essential, like the WWE essential. Mm-hmm. They have all those training facilities for baseball in Florida. Mm-hmm. So they could actually move baseball to Florida, keep everybody there, and stay right there and quarantine the areas where all the camps are, all the training camps and fields are, and do their league there with no fans.
Hey.
See, we were really following Hatter, China.
Yes.
And then China was getting ready to go back, and then a second wave came. See, what people are missing is there's a great chance in October we have this again.
Yes.
So when when I saw that they were going to be giving away $5,000 to the winner of the spring icebreaker next year and $3,000 for every other division that won, I said, geez, I got to get my team up in there right now. But that's a year away.
That's 2021, Coach. 2021. That's next. That's the 20th. We owe it. That's the 20th anniversary of the spring icebreaker. So we owe it to give something back to the people, and that's why that came up.
I got a question for John. And I don't know. Yeah, I guess you can talk about it. What do you think about R.J. Hampton and Tyrese Maxey in this year's draft? Somebody sent that to me.
I really like Maxey's energy. I like R.J. Hampton. I don't know when he left his league or what they'll do. You know, the hard thing about getting kids to understand about coming in the draft, and I'm on the other side of it. And so I have a special relationship because you grow up with them and you know their family and everything.
Right.
Once you go in the draft, you can't control where you're going. And for us, when I sit in the draft room and I get ready to tell them he's got a good family, he's this, he's a good, they don't want to know that. They want to know, is he the best talent? They may not want to take the player that's the best fit. They may want to take the best talent. And so if you look at all the guys that have been through our Rocket team, a lot of guys have moved on. Gary Clark, he was there. He went to Orlando's playing minutes. Isaiah Taylor moved on. Marcus Williams, Michael Carter Williams, he's doing well playing other minutes. Montrezl Harrell, he left and got a great deal once he left. We signed Capello for that amount of money. You would think he'd be there forever. And we trade to get Russ. And the fit isn't quite the same because we have to open up that lane a little more for Russ to be able to get there instead of shooting threes or whatever the rationale is that we use. That it is. It's no love in basketball. And if you can't play in those 3 years, it's no sweat off us. We move to the next class. So these guys are leaving college to get, and they think that because of the virus, somebody's going to miss. It's there right to the G League. And then the hardest thing, guys, is people forget there's a draft the next year. So if I miss this year, I just got next year. I just got to try to move this money to go. That's why I get so mad at player development with people doing it, because you got people's lives. My job, one of my jobs with the Rockets, besides the coaching, is to create assets. Make sure we got valuable pieces and young talent to trade to bring us a Russell Westbrook, to bring us a Chris Paul, to develop a Clint. They may not, and I don't have those decisions. They may not have the intentions of keeping them. They want to keep you got the salary cap. You got all of these other things that go into winning a championship with your team. Like our team that was 2 years ago with Chris before he pulled his hamstring may have been our best chance. With Golden State was just better.
Wow.
Coach, now, Coach, what we have, of course, there's a ton of questions that people have lined up for you, so we try to get them.
Yeah, we got a ton of them, Coach.
And I'll answer them quicker, Jimmy. Okay.
Hey, man, you can't be talking to John like that, man.
I'm gonna just throw it out there to him. Now, of course, Big E's up in Dallas. He asked, "What do you think about Cade Cunningham, and what are your thoughts on Imani Bates, the sophomore who was just named the Gatorade Player of the Year?"
I love Cade Cunningham. I think he's going to be really, really good at Oklahoma State. He's got great size. I watched the IMG games on TV that they had recently. He's actually could play a lot of point. And the new NBA with playing positionless basketball, he's going to have a chance to be really, really good and really special. Got to improve his outside shooting. And he's got to understand spacing a little more and play at a faster pace. He's going to be really good. I like him a lot. Imani Bates, Kevin Durant. He's special. He's the LeBron KD, Kobe, he's of that mold of talent. When I saw him at the 15s playing last year, I go, oh my God, who is this guy? And he's got, all great players have a nastiness about them.
Jimmy said that.
He's got a little air of nastiness about him that he wants to be good. Now, he played for his dad, and he played for Bates Fundamental. And he's going to be good. The biggest thing for him is to keep him on a path that has him getting better. And I don't know that with all the rules. See, like when I was in Philly, I had Kobe. I let Kobe come practice with us. And the first time I knew Kobe was going to be good, when he was trying to fight Mad Max, when they got rid of Max for taking a barbell and Carl Herrera the year they won a championship. He fighting Kobe over 9 points at a high school gym just a pickup. I said, Kobe, you know that? I don't care who he is.
Yeah.
And then when I introduced Kobe to Michael in a private room, and he said, Mr. Jordan, I said, if you're going to come out, Kobe, you can't be calling Mr. Jordan. Can't do that. And so, but I let him practice with our team so he could continue to get better. Bad habits come when you end up being the best player in the gym. So for a guy like him, he's got to keep searching out people to help him keep getting better without trying to go along for the ride. I've had a lot, I think a couple of years we had almost $800 or $900 million get new contracts. And all we got was a backboard from Steve Francis.
I remember you said that. Yeah.
People aren't, everybody, I'm not going with you. I didn't go with Justice Winslow didn't ask me to go nowhere.
Right.
I wanted none of that. Penny Hardaway didn't tell me. Penny Hardaway was another one that gave us something. He didn't tell me, come on, go with me, Lou.
Right.
DeAndre didn't say that. They all, people think there's a ride, but see, when you don't take nothing, you can coach them. When you take, see, I guess why I never coached tennis, Jimmy, because a tennis player and when you play tennis, because when you pay me, you the boss. I can't walk away when you paying me. Well, I'm gonna say, let's get to work, man. Don't do that no more. I'd say, please, can we do this again?
I got something for you, Coach.
My biggest fight is with James all the time. Hey, come on, James. James works really hard. Right. I want me and him. It ain't a father-son relationship now.
What you got, Hatter?
No. Question from Ken Lutz. John, she said, what are some of the things you look for in guards or players in general?
How they're groomed, how they look, hair comb. Well, because you're gonna be the leader of my team. How you look, how you dress on the floor, where you show up. Because you're gonna run my team. Second thing I look for is whether you can address me, eye contact, who you run around with, how you are off the court. Then, because if you're the leader, people follow how you behave. So if he's got the ball, he got the shoes. Because everybody loves shoes, he got the ball. So you're going to have to tell him what to do. But if he's late, you remember a guy, Miller. What's Miller?
Andre Miller?
Andre Miller, but me and him used to argue about coming in the gym with his hair comb.
Yeah,
he used to think I was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever. I said, but Andre, you come to the gym with your hair comb, you already got respect for the rest of the guys. I can't tell the rest of the guys how to act if you're not setting the tone yourself. So, that was important for me. Other thing is spacing and being able to shoot the ball and be able to guard switches from the basketball side. But the biggest side that coaches look for is whether that kid, the point guard especially, makes eye contact. And two, whether he sits and talks to me.
What you got, Jimmy?
And of course, speaking of the young players, we have a question for you, Coach. He says, my two sons are 7 and 8 years old, no experience playing basketball. How do you suggest I start them out? They're 7 and 8 years old.
They, Barbara Turner just said to me, she's sitting here with me, and Barbara was National Player of the Year in Cleveland, played at Connecticut. How many titles you win? About one? Two titles are there. And she was saying that they were late. They're late. And I'm going to tell you, they're early. And the reason why I said is let them to develop who they want to, because basketball is about physical growth. Okay? So at 7 or 8, teach them to get them the right ball size. Teach them the fundamentals, and then let them go. Don't get them a big ball where all their technique is wrong. They're shooting with both hands, so they don't have to go back and learn it. Because if both things are equal in athletic ability, then I'm taking the guy that's the most skilled. So skills pay the bills. So if he gets his skill set now, then don't worry about his size. And if he can shoot the basketball. So one thing that John, he was a 2-guard and a 1-guard spot. And I used to tell him, I've never seen anybody take somebody off the court for making shots.
That's great. That's great.
And now we have a good question from Walt. And of course, a lot of people may not remember you, I guess, were popularized or infamous for you were with the Spurs and basically playing daddy daycare, and then they end up getting the draft pick for Tim Duncan. You were gone before you got a chance to coach him, I think. Then you go to Philadelphia, and the same thing happened with Philly, right? And right before they get the number 1 pick, you were daddy daycare with those. Then you go to Cleveland as a head coach. And then you once again, you daddy daycare with Cleveland.
I'm about to cry, Jimmy. I'm about to cry.
So the question is understand. I mean, it's crazy. Do you think that was purposely done, as you were basically, in the eyes of some of the owners, you were basically their babysitter, or you were their gap? Remember he had the gap band with Charlie Wilson? You were the gap man. And you filled the gap. And number 2, the question is that Walt asked, if you could have been there and stayed there with LeBron in that first year, how would you have used him in Cleveland?
He would have played the point for me in Cleveland. He was a point guard, always has been. And you see now he's doing that. And at the end, I'm going to tell you, James Harden is going to be a 4-man near the end of his career, but I'll leave that alone for right now. I left the Spurs for all the wrong reasons. They wouldn't let me interview for the general manager's job. And Popovich was a 4th assistant at Golden State. He became our general manager, and he wanted to switch my coaching staff. At that time, I had George Gervin on my staff. And he wanted me to move George back to marketing. And I just felt that, I thought I won 60 games those 2 years. It's a bad coaching mistake on my part. And then I decided to leave because I was a hot name. And I went to Philadelphia thinking I was the reason we won. And I went from David Robinson, Sean Elliott, Avery Johnson, and Dennis Rodman to Sean Bradley, Clarence Weatherspoon, Dana Barros, Sharon Wilson, Ed Pinckney was 50, LaSalle Thompson was 45. And they were all old, and we lost 60 games. And then my owner sold the team, but they were already in the process of selling the team. Now, I ask you guys, when I was with the Spurs, I was making X dollars. When I got to be the vice president, general manager, the coach, I know I'm getting ready to get beat, but I'm not getting ready to get the Lakers. So do I take triple X or stay there at X to get fired the next year? So I took the triple X dollars to go there. Then I was out, but I had become the first Black to be vice president, general manager, and coach.
Which place is this?
Philadelphia 76.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you was
So then I left there and went back and became an assistant coach in Denver. That's where I started out in the lab, the player development stuff. Now I went back to go with McDyess and Nick Van Exel up to Denver. And then I got a chance to go to Cleveland. Cleveland's 2 years away from getting LeBron James. no free agents would go to Cleveland. But we have a chance to draft the number one player in the country, and he lives in Cleveland. Dale Harris actually had the job. He turned it down because he saw what was there. I don't have a luxury for my wife and kids to turn down $4X
That's right.
for 4 years at about $16 million. What do? Let you and Hatter get that money?
You did the right thing.
No, but then it makes your record so it's hard to get another opportunity. So they try to use your record against it. So you have to kind of be in certain situations. So I'm grateful that I've been the first player. I've been the player that screwed up. I've been the Asian veteran. I've been the last guy on the bench. I've been the head guy, general manager, vice president. I've been the first assistant. I've been head of player development and assistant. So I've got a good feel of all of it, and I've matured in it. But you always want to go out with a chance to have had a really good team to win. So if there's an opportunity to do that, I might really look at it. But I don't think about it because I obsess about it.
And another question somebody has is really good for you, of course, and that is, it says, I think Daryl asked, who's the best point guard you've ever coached and why?
Whoa. Avery Johnson.
Why?
Could really see the floor. All of the things that I asked and talked to you about, he did. He was really very religious, but Avery did. And I made a big mistake. Tony Dutt represented Avery. And when I got to be the coach of the Spurs, Avery was coming off the bench. Then I started. The next year, I let my general manager talk me out of re-signing Avery. And he went to Golden State. And then Popovich brought Avery back and then won a championship. But Avery used to go, because I used to always tell David and Avery, David sometimes wouldn't get on the glass like he used to, like rebound the ball. And I used to tell David all the time, God wants you to rebound, David. Because they didn't like you to cuss them. And I used to get on, and then I would always tell Avery, Jesus wept on that play. He used to get so mad at me. Yeah, but they're real good. Now, another thing makes me mad. I got to clean this up.
Okay.
The year King won that MVP, and they keep showing David jumping around and going on that one move with King made.
Yeah.
I wanted to coach that team. When I coached that team with them, David owned the King them years. Because guess what?
Why?
I played with him. I knew how to take the jump hook away in the middle and how to take the fadeaway away. Because we dropped both people in and took both away. So David had him. Then they switched the matchups after that.
Well,
and then they left David on there on his own. And then the next year, Dream and because David got the MVP that year.
That's right. Dream was mad too.
He got that, and I hate that for David because I had to force David to score 71 points one night. And I remember in his Hall of Fame speech, he said, I want to thank Coach Lue. And I said, David, you haven't missed a shot. Coach, that's enough. It's never enough.
And Coach, speaking of you took a blast to the past, and speaking of you mentioned about your time in Philly. Take us back in this year in 2020. It's horrific. Of course, it'll be memorable for the rest of our lives. But during that time, and told us a story about how.
You know what? I'm gonna share something with you. I called Joe after the funeral because Joe didn't get to speak. None of the Bryant family got to speak.
I noticed that.
None of them got to speak. So I called Joe up and talked to him and spent a lot of time because my time was before Lakers. And when he was here, he actually flew Tavia out for his last game. And she was out there for his game. He flew out there for it. Kobe never forgot anybody. And he he was really, really good. But I called to check in on Joe and the family to make sure that they're doing all right. And when he went into the Hall of Fame, I texted him again because when I went to see Kobe play, his nickname in high school was Kobe Bean. Mm-hmm. And Kobe's dad's nickname was Jelly Bean. And I couldn't put together. I said, he was at the game. I said, Jelly Bean, what you doing? He said, well, my wife swears there's a better basketball player than I was in high school, and she wants me to see him. And I said, his name is some kid named Kobe Bean. That's my son. So I went to go see him play, and he started out at center. And Kobe would be who our time would be with much more publicity, our Rashard Lewis. But just imagine our Rashard in the East Coast basketball high school instead of having to fight against Southwest football. So take those people as at football games, at basketball games in the East.
Who was selling out college arenas?
They were selling out college arenas. So Kobe used to have people following his game. And I used, Rick Pitino, Coach K, all that. I said, man, y'all wasting your time. This kid ain't going to college. And so Bob Bass was the general manager of the Charlotte Hornets. He was my coach who hired me in San Antonio. He drafted, I said, whatever you do, you take Kobe Bryant. He took Kobe 13th that year. And Kobe didn't want to go there, and he ended up going for Vlade Divac to the Lakers.
That's right.
Vlade Divac. Now, tell me this. During that time, speaking of Kobe, a lot of the viewers may not know that he and Tavia actually went to the prom together. Coach.
They double dated.
I don't care if it was triple
No.
dating.
No. Get him, John.
Kobe went with Brandy.
Okay. Okay.
And Tavia went with Kobe's best friend, Jermaine. Now, Brandy come over to the house, and we ain't gonna be able to take no pictures because she and the bodyguard, her mama didn't want no photos out.
Really?
I said, hold up now. We gotta get some photos now for the prom. One bike ruptured in mine. Come on. Back up. She wasn't gonna let us take photos.
Oh, that mama was overbearing. Yes.
Yeah, we wasn't
go.
gonna.
She let Ray J go out there and make a video with little kids.
She didn't know Ray J was making that video.
They had two bodyguards. They gave us down. We just regular old folks here, so they gave us down the country about that thing.
Wow.
So yeah, Tati still got the picture somewhere, and she posted it and then John and Jay used to ride with Kobe everywhere. They thought he hung the moon. He had a little land. Now wait a minute, I'm gonna tell you about being pros and why people tell me about Kobe. You know who Kobe hired when he got drafted? He took my strength coach that was at the Sixers.
Oh, okay.
He hired Joe Carbone to go in.
Yeah.
He was my strength coach. I introduced him to Kobe's 10th grade year, and I made him work Kobe out every day during Kobe's fall season, during the season, and regular. That's one of the things, Jimmy, and how I miss about going back to coach the Rockets. I don't have time to be back at Fondy like I used to really try to put a foot on these kids to get better. And John and those wanted an AAU team, JL3, and it was named after the three boys. And I want to be really, really good, but it was for them. But now in these AAU wars and everybody recruiting, people don't want people coming to gym. I don't care who you play for. How to know that?
That's right. You're right.
I don't know who you play for. I'm going to help you if I can help you. Sure. I'm not the enemy in this thing because I know at the end of the day, your family is the last name on the back of that jersey, and they should have the last decision. Now, I can try to give you my input, but then you need to make and give you sound advice. But I learned a long time ago, after I give you advice, I'm going to walk away. Because, if you don't do it, and I've never seen anybody I lost, I probably should tell y'all this. I lost a real friendship. Like Miles Turner went to Texas.
Right.
And he didn't start for whatever reason, Rick Vaughn. And I used to tell his parents, don't worry about it. NBA people see through BS. He went fourth in the draft. He didn't start.
Sure did.
Jackson Hayes didn't start. People don't find, look, if anything out of this, find the best fit, like you two. Y'all not even close to who y'all think you are. I saw that Woodson interview like y'all ain't Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy. Y'all far from that. More like Starsky and Hutch, but you know. But you know,
Man, say Starsky and Hutch.
But I'm saying, the real point I'm trying to make is find the right fit, be patient,
right,
and enjoy the journey. What people miss is you get great friendships during this whole process, man. And everybody wants to be pros. The hardest thing for me was the night I had to tell John he wasn't gonna get drafted. Hey man, what you talking about? I was conference player of the year. I'm just, man, you ain't gonna get drafted, they can find you anywhere. So I said, in your honor, John, I'm not even gonna watch the draft. I drove to the casino the night of his draft. And my wife was hoping a miracle. We had David Falk, the big agent, pull a favor. I said, this ain't no favors. Let him find his best fit. And John went to Europe for 3 years. He played the G League for 2 years. And then he finally got the right fit and stuck. It just takes one. So all these young kids is one. I don't have no offers on my board. They don't matter. You know what you can put up on the board and really get themselves off? Put up some scripture. I'll play defense. I'll pass to the open man. I'm making 1,000 shots a day. I'll come whenever you need me in the gym, coach. And this one will be the greatest one they can say of all. I'll be a good teammate.
I've never seen that on Twitter.
They put that up there. They get a whole lot more response. And then they get some girls call them too.
But Coach, you said something a minute ago, Coach. You said something key, and it stuck with me. You talked about the Jackson Hayes. You talked about the Miles Turner, because I remember Miles Turner, mom and dad was giving that man the blues up there. But it happened, but those two cases, it don't happen like that all the time, Coach. That you can sit on the bench and still go in the lottery and in the NBA.
Yes, it does. You just don't have it with the same flair of Zion Williamson. You don't have it. The key is for me to get you as cheap as I can get you. Okay. My job ain't to make you more money than you deserve.
I got you.
If I can get you in the second round, and if I give you a good example. You remember Boobie Gibson?
Yeah.
He went to Cleveland, right?
Yes, sir.
Who was the last coach before he went to Cleveland? I was.
Okay.
Him and his dad met with me, and he was the 35th pick and had one workout. With Cleveland. Cleveland said, shut it down. We're going to take you at that pick.
Yeah.
So it's about the preparation work before. So like the best advice I could give young kids today, what are the couple of things that the NBA looks for today that you could be able to play?
Okay.
You got to be able to shoot threes.
Okay.
You got to be able to guard bigger people. You got to be able to switch on defense. Right? And you got to be able to guard your position. Now, if, it's like me and House, I probably shouldn't tell you, me and House fight every day. Daniel has really improved his ball handling. D-House, we got 2 MVPs who handle the ball. They make a combined $70 million. Why won't you handling the ball?
Wow.
Coach Derek asks you, Derek Daniels up in Fort Worth, the Fort Worth Dunbar legend point guard, and also former University U of H Cougar. He's watching. He says, ask Coach Lucas if you enjoyed coaching the Miami Tropics. I believe it was about those days. Sweet Pea, Lloyd Sweet Pea Daniels. And also, I'm going to add to that question. Give us the difference. Who was a better street ball legend, Sweet Pea or Dwayne Rogers?
Ooh, good question. Dane Irvin's gonna really get mad about this question because you know that New York, what up, son? All that old BS they all
yeah.
What up, son? Sweet Pea really good. Dwayne, they were different. Dwayne Rogers could score off the dribble off anybody. Sweet Pea could just shoot the ball as well as really pass. That's those two things. Lloyd played for me. He played for me at the Tropics, played for me at the Spurs. And Lloyd had all the nuances of basketball. You know, you ever play with a guy who, when it's time to run the fast break, they throw the ball up slow so you don't go without them.
Yeah.
You know, when you play the game, you see all the BS. I said, Lord, push the ball, because that meant he wasn't going to be in the play. Lloyd's trouble was, and guys like Lloyd, when you played on the pro level, it was structure. So like Lloyd would go, like at the end of the shot clock, if Lloyd just got a shot up, he would think that would be okay because, you know, we had to get a shot up. We didn't get the right shot in the last 5 seconds, but he got a shot up. You know what I'm saying? So maybe the ball should have gone to David or maybe it should have gone somewhere else, but he felt like I just got the shot up. Those what happens in the difference between street ball legends and basketball legends. The nuances of the game of playing, and some of the best street ball players could play pickup basketball, but they couldn't play in structure. But to answer your question, that's pretty even up. And that says a lot for Sweet Pea, who wrote a book, and Dwayne didn't write a book. Sweet Pea got a couple of books out, but that's because of New York. But Dwayne could score on anybody, especially in that pro-am.
Could Dwayne have played in the NBA back in those 80s, late 80s or whatnot, mid to late
80s? Close. The problem would have been, Jimmy, back then, he would have a better chance today than he would have back then, because think about it. I was a 4-year guy coming out. See, the draft was originally set up to make the worst teams better because they were getting a 4-year player, a guy who was a senior, maybe a junior, hardship case. Now you're talking about Max and Hampton. You're not going to win a championship with those guys coming out of school as freshmen. You're not getting ready to go. If you look at all the teams that's really good, we're old. The Lakers, the Clippers are old. Toronto's medium age, but we got age on them. The Spurs have always been an age team. So you don't win with young players. So today, if Dwayne was playing, he'd have a better chance today than running across guys who have been Quinn Buckners and guys who had 3 or 4 years of basketball and less draft.
Now, Coach, also wanted to get this topic in for you. The NBPA Top 100 camp. Will there be a camp this year?
It's in jeopardy, Jimmy, just because of the way things are. I know that they've said the rule was in Virginia, nothing till the end of June. We have, Jimmy, and you're part of that committee, we already have 60 people who signed up for that this year. So it was going to be the best camp based on USA basketball, the differences of what was going on. We're looking at alternative dates based on what will happen, but nothing official yet. But as of the June date, we'll have no more knowledge about it on May.
And of course, JL3.
Since you asked me about that, is the what about your tournament in July? Is that on or what?
It's very doubtful that the GMI will take place, but right now, because here's the thing, what my thought is this. the way that the economy is going, you can smell, like I said, I mentioned earlier, I had one of my Hicksisms, and if you take a deep breath, you can smell not only the pots, but you can smell what's probably cooking inside of it. And at some point, Coach, they're going to open up the churches, they're going to open up the gallerias, and at some point, I'm talking about in the next 60 days, and when they do so, because based on the economy, just like you mentioned earlier about Florida, how Florida opened up is because the wrestling match, the WWE had a plug in the politics, and they got somebody to agree and saying this, they are essential. Well, once wrestling did it, guess what happened? Bob Aaron called down there, and Bob Aaron say, wait, we can have some boxing matches down there then in Miami. We can make it pop. So then next thing you know, baseball, football, everybody. So now this is what's going to happen.
Jimmy. Great argument. Is AAU basketball essential?
Nope.
Well, in Orlando, they couldn't make a case in Florida. I'm telling you, that's what I'm getting to. Think about it, right? Am I lying? Where's AAU based out of? Orlando, Florida, in the wide world of sports. And they
No, hold on. I ask you a question. If you consider like church, okay? Like you said, church. This is a great political thing that Trump's gonna have to go through for the evangelicals for his presidency, because opening up the church. Let me ask you a question. If all the school gyms are closed and nobody wants to take the risk of someone suing, it's like I canceled my events because I didn't want to have the risk of somebody gets sick, your insurance, or somebody comes in and out, and I'm not, and it becomes an issue for me. I just got a deposition because a lady hit me and she sued me for mental anguish. So, I mean, it's just the times are so hard for people to get in gyms. And now, they charge so much money even to get into gyms regularly now. That's another thing that's hurt our basketball here, is that we can't get into facilities like we used to be able to do what we wanted to do. So I asked about the GMIC because would you think about moving it back if the live period was in August? That was my question. Really was going to ask you.
I mean, it's we'll have to see how it lays out. It's not a big thing if it did, then I'd rather cancel than to move it. Just like we did with the icebreaker.
Can I have your date then?
No, it won't be no date. He wouldn't have a date.
Coach,
no, John, think about it. Jimmy likes his dates. So his date's gonna been passed away. So that date in August is an open date. He just telling you.
Have a date in August. I mean,
that's an open date, John. That's an open date. That's an open date.
More power.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
If there isn't any basketball, and I thought about this, if there isn't any basketball this summer,
okay,
everybody in our city should be better.
They're supposed to be, and very well rested.
They should have been in their streets working on that game and all this downtime, working on their ball handling, working on their fundamentals, not being destroyed by any people. And I get so tickled with all these guys who doing these dribble moves and all of this. It's still simple. It's a jab step. It's an extended step. Also, again, you can't fool me about basketball. And it's still that you can get your skill level up. And then more importantly, watch video. Not a video of, go back and watch video of games. If you got Baller TV, if I was Baller TV, I would upload all of the games and let people be able to see the things and sit there and identify my strengths and weaknesses. Huddle and all that, and then begin to get better.
So watch your own games. So what you're saying, John, you're saying watch your own games?
Why would I want to watch somebody else?
Okay, gotcha.
I want to get better. Everybody, I'm going to watch Steph Curry. Steph Curry is a rarity. You're going to end up trying to do what Steph Curry does. You can't do that. And then your coach not going to let you shoot from half court.
Coach, one last question. Of course, Rodney Wells asked, do you prefer a fast-paced game? Do you prefer a fast-paced game?
Well, hold on. Barbara just told me to ask you all. She said she has a problem with that because she's saying if kids don't have games to look forward to, what would they have to focus on?
The schoolwork.
Good. That's a good try. Hunter, you must be at Bible study, Hunter.
Yeah. Well, David, tell David we're gonna have to have a virtual Bible study.
No, but what about with that, games are gonna come eventually. But now you see if the love of the game is really what you're about. Because if you don't love it, you're not gonna do the work. It's called faith.
Faith ain't fair.
All right, but faith without works is dead. Basketball's gonna come back, but you could be so far ahead of the game with your skill set. I know my nephew's here at the house and he got to make 1,000 shots a day.
That's right.
He can't shoot. He made the all defensive team for Mike Davis. He made the all defensive team. His biggest problem is he want to gripe about Twan shooting up all the balls. I told him, no. Get on that glass. Make your free throws. Finish your shots. You get to shoot. Be more efficient at what you do.
That's good. And like I said,
because that's the same thing, Jimmy, about anybody's trade. You got to work at it. And see, the thing is, we play too many games instead of working on getting better. So when I argue that, because when that product comes to the league, we got more than 4 or 5 really good players. We may have 16 or 18 really good players. Just think about the last 5 years. The McDonald's players that have gone to the pros the next year. I think one of the best classes was 2007, and that was Jay's class, and he didn't make the pros, but like 18 of the 24 on that team made the pros. It's only one. I think Kevin Garnett's class was the only other team that matched that number of how many pros that were there. I like to see our state Texas high school kids have something like that many kids go on to be to the pros. Because if you want to see how well you're doing something, is see how well their system of developing all the way till they get to that point is. Because like I watched Bradley Beal's team, the AAU team, Bradley Beal, they got a pretty good system. They keep good teams every year.
What a Mocan Elite too, John?
Mocan Elite, yeah. You can look at some of those kind of teams, and they just got good development from each year. That everybody's not always a superstar, but they got kids, and the whole goal is to get college scholarships. And so for me, you can tell how good we are. Not that any school is any better than any other school, based on what Power 5 school took your players.
Now, Coach, Kevin Allen about to step on the ant bed with you. He said, who's the better player? Mike, MJ, because of course the series will start this weekend on television about MJ, Kobe, LeBron.
MJ what? Kobe or LeBron?
Yeah.
The best player of those 3. The best, I'm answer, but the best skilled of the 3 was Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
The best competitor of the 3 was Michael Jordan.
Okay.
The most overall ability player, LeBron James.
I like that.
Okay.
Now let's keep breaking it down. Who could play at any position if you put any team together? LeBron James. He could play the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1, possibly some 5. Magic could possibly be some 4, some 3, some 2, and definitely 1. Michael Jordan played the 2, the 3, and you win.
Right.
You forget how good Michael Jordan was until you see these highlights get ready to come on about The Last Dance.
And
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the best basketball player to ever play basketball.
I totally agree with you on that.
now we have a question from Herb. He says, how good, we were talking about, we mentioned the Sweet Peas. And of course, guys, we only got 2 more questions. That's it. We got to wrap it up. I know Coach tired. You got to get in there. We see Miss Barbara's over there and Tarvey over there. They hungry. They ready to eat. They ready to boil some crawfish and something over there.
Hey, we know he ain't got nowhere to go, but keep on talking.
Shit. Luke Burn, let me tell you something. He finna hit that street. Don't
Man, you better stay in the house, man. Stay in the house, John.
Question, Jimmy.
Now tell me this. He said the question is, how good was Chris Washburn before his drug issues?
Really good. A solid big man. Chris had great hands, really good. Great character guy at the time, before the time. Just got so much given to him so fast. Chris was from Hickory, North Carolina. Could block shots, could run the floor, had a game with the Golden State Warriors with 35 points, 20 rebounds, had a couple of really good games. Chris was really good, but he would be behind Dwayne, Sweet Pea, and them guys. And he came out of college. Bill Willoughby, he'd be down the list of high school players that came out. Darryl Dawkins. There's a list of guys that he'd be way down the list now if you had to sit down and go through all the guys that came out of high school.
John, I got it. This been troubling me. I just got this one. This from me. What happened to Anthony Bennett?
He was with us this summer.
I know, but he was a #1 pick, Coach. How could we get it that wrong? Well, how could they get it that wrong?
I don't think that anybody got it wrong. Okay. I think that the game changes, Hatter, and it can change over a summer based on who wins. It used to be all defense when the Detroit Pistons won. When Golden State made their run, it was a triangle with the Bulls, and then now it was like positionless basketball with Draymond Green. You remove centers. Mm-hmm. Draymond Green could do so much, and then you got Klay Thompson, and all those guys could take you off the dribble, and you could switch, and it just changed. The game changes like every 3 years. That's why teaching is so important, because the game on our level changes. Pick and roll. Just think about it. 2 years ago, we would pick and roll at the rim with James and Clint.
Right.
Now I'm not doing that.
That's right.
So now Tuck's our center.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So everybody's playing small. So it's just a matter of when you come into the league. And like a lot of guys that can't play for us can go somewhere else and be a star. Mm-hmm. Because with us, we're not traditional. We got Russ and we got James that we hope make a lot of plays for us. And then you got to hold your space and make shots. Well, if you're a guy that wants to be able to put the ball on the floor and dribble, that's not happening.
Don't come here.
Not the best fit.
Coach, which in your career, right? Which NBA player, coaching or playing, just stuck with you? Had the most, were the most business savvy? That you were a teammate or a coach of. Like you could see and you listen to this guy, and in other words, while everybody was reading the sports page, he was reading the business page, or you can just tell he had
Junior Bridgman.
Junior Bridgman.
He owns 400 Wendy's, 300 Friendlies. The head of the Board of Regents at the University of Louisville. Almost bought the Atlanta Hawks single-handedly. He He started with Wendy's franchises.
That's right.
Long ago, he was our president of the union. He's the best. I don't know that we've had anybody else close to him like that, on that level.
Wow. Junior Bridgman.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Look Ulysses Bridgman, look him up.
Oh,
He has the biggest party at the Kentucky Derby every summer.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Well,
He just got the contract.
he just got the contract for Coca-Cola distribution.
Wow.
he's been grooving.
Oh,
So he was
right.
magic. He was magic on a bell curve before magic.
Well, he was Magic without the minority support that Magic got to get started. Magic got a lot of minority funding for minority small businesses early, and Junior just methodically with those things did that. And Magic has grown on to be, Magic would be in a different position, but I didn't play or be around. I know Buck like that, but I didn't know him to that degree. Junior, when they made Junior my roommate when I went back to the Bucks to play when I finally got sober.
Jimmy, I Googled Junior Bridgman, right? They said how Junior Bridgman turned 350K into 600 million.
Mhm.
How he turned 350K into 600 million. Y'all, that's a good one. Thank you, John.
And he still got alligator arms off. He can't get down in them pockets like I've been trying to get him to get down here. Hey, man, it's been really good talking to y'all.
Thank you, John. Let's get out of here.
Thanks so much, man. Coach Lucas. Sorry for you guys, all the questions that we could not get to Coach Lucas, man. We appreciate it, Coach. Thanks a bunch. This was much needed and very therapeutic during these trying times as a result of COVID-19, man. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we give you your flowers while you're still living. As a community, we embrace you. We definitely love you and everything that you and the family have provided and done for us. I know in the family, in the shadow, that we see everything they do, especially Tavia and Miss Debbie. She's probably sitting there having a ball with the new addition to the family.
It's tough right now, Jimmy, with the quarantine. Just let's leave it alone. I see y'all.
All right, we'll see you later.
Y'all be
Thank
good.
you, Coach.
That's the convo with John Lucas. Make sure you guys share the show to your timelines and friends. Great convo. Don't forget, if you got in late, you can go back and watch, then scroll up and watch the show in its entirety, the convo that is. Man, so many topics we covered. We tried to get a lot of your stuff in. Once again, apologize. Charge it to our heart, not our head. And charge it backwards. Charge it to our head, not our heart. But right now, it's time to go on and yabba and slide on down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing. See you guys in 22 hours. Come on back with us tomorrow on Baby Friday, that is. That's what we call Thursdays. From 12 to 2 Central Time. We talking the Chop Shop, baby. Be right back with you. Peace.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based to debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray, Skip Bayless, and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal to the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket, put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never